You do look really tan. Hey guys, I'm here with my friend Kaitlyn, and she is a health professional, and I wanted to dive into her different roles in the healthcare industry.
All right, hey guys, I'm a registered dietitian, and what that means is that I did a 4-year undergraduate degree in nutrition, a 1-year dietetic internship, and then I studied and took a licensing exam. So that gave me the credential of RD, LD in the state of Ohio and beyond, so that I can practice nutrition in the clinical setting or wellness or wherever that might take me.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so as a clinical dietitian, you go into hospitals?
Yes.
And then tell me about that, because I've never heard of that before until you just told me about it.
Yes, so there's all different types of dietitians. We can work in hospitals, we can work in nursing homes, schools. The opportunities are endless, grocery stores, community clinics, the food bank, but
That's so cool.
In my setting, yeah, I know, it is.
I love it.
Yeah, in my setting, we do a lot of dealing with people who are managing chronic disease. So these are people who have heart failure, diabetes that's become uncontrolled, renal failure. So I've seen people go from, just having an infection in their toe to having their whole leg amputated to going blind, renal failure. Yeah, it's pretty scary.
Yeah.
So, and this is all tied to your nutrition and how you eat. So that's something that people need to be aware of.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to do this, is because I feel like people don't really talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like hush hush, and then by the time it actually is happening, it's like, oh my God, it's scary, and it's like actually life threatening, and these crazy things are happening to your body, and it might be too late at that point.
Right, and what scares me the most is that these people, often they're 40, 50, 60 years old and dealing with this uncontrolled diabetes or whatever their condition might be, and I go to talk to them about it and talk to them how they're controlling their blood sugar and what their diet is, and they have no idea what I'm talking about. So I think there's a huge, there's a huge lack of nutrition education over the lifetime. I think children to adults, we're just not getting it, and I think it's a lot more complicated than people realize, which is why I think they need people like dietitians or nutritionists, health coach, whatever, to kind of help people with this stuff, because it's tough. It's not always simple when we've got all these different products out there that have all these different claims.
Your head can spin with all the different stuff.
Right. So it's kind of my job to help them navigate that messy world of nutrition and the grocery store and everything.
So when I was growing up, I would see all these adults like taking a laundry list of pills, and when I would ask them like, what is that? Why are you taking that? They would just say, it's just what happens when you get older. And it scared me, because I'm like, is this my fate? Is this what I'm gonna have to do when I'm older? Like, that's really scary. But then I started like researching just how the human body works, and it sounds like your position, instead of running to pills, is the opposite of that. So instead of automatically just going to pills and medication, you're changing your lifestyle to solve these issues in your body, which I think is amazing.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So a lot of the people I work with, they have the option. I can't force them to do anything. It's something that they have to want. But I say, hey, you have high blood pressure. Okay, this is affecting your health, and it's not going to be good for you if you continue to eat a high sodium diet. Okay, because that causes your blood pressure to rise. A lot of sodium in the diet, salt. So, but these people, they don't want to do that. They don't want to have to eat healthy. They don't want to put in that effort, so they just take another pill.
Yeah.
And that pill causes this side effect, so they take another pill.
Another one. It's
and
like
then,
a chain reaction.
Right, exactly. And it's sad because all they had to do was make some very simple lifestyle changes, and they weren't willing to do it.
Yeah.
So it's really hard being a dietitian a lot of the times, more so than it's easy, because
like, let me help you.
Right, and it's just people don't want to put in the effort, and especially I think younger people are kind of opening up to it more, but like family members and stuff like that are a little bit older, they're like, oh, stevia, what's that? And salt, I need salt, and it's hard for them to break habits that they've built over a lifetime. So yeah, it gets very interesting.
Yeah, oh my gosh, it's really cool that you guys have that position. And is this something that's new? Like, did this come out recently, or people have been having your role for a long time, or is this driven by health insurance? Or I'm
a little bit of both. Yeah, it is. It's not new. We've been around. I think the official RD credential came out, don't quote me on this, like 60s, 70s.
Oh.
But so we've been in hospitals for a while, but the role with us in insurance we've been more highly refunded.
Like the insurance could help cover it?
Yes.
Oh, that's good.
Exactly. Yes.
That's good, yeah.
So previously, insurance did not cover dietitians, but now more and more increasingly they are.
Yeah.
They're realizing how essential nutrition and diet is to healthcare.
Right.
So
it is.
So we're popping up more and more everywhere. So I think as America, I kind of have this theory about how food has impacted people over time. You know, like our grandparents, they made everything themselves from scratch. They were fermenting things in their basement.
This too, yeah.
Right.
So true.
And then their kids, so like my parents, they were like, I'm not putting in all that time and effort. I don't have time for that. I work. So they started buying all this processed food, all this.
And the TV dinner came out.
Right.
Like all these
right.
like
and fast food.
Yeah.
Fast food came out at the same time. So at the same time, all these fast, easy options came out. So they start eating all these things, not really knowing much about it.
Right. It's like guinea pig generation.
Right. But saying, you know, this is easier. I'm not putting in 8 hours canning things like my mom did. So now, you know, these people are the ones that I'm dealing with in healthcare now who have, you know, the multiple chronic diseases going on. And I think it's our generation that's saying, hey, maybe easier isn't always better. You know, all those chemicals and the processing, all that, obviously it's not impacting our bodies in a way that's good or beneficial. So I think our generation is kind of turning this around and starting to realize, you know, maybe faster isn't always better. And I think that's a really good thing. And
for sure.
That's something we can work on.
Yeah, and we're spreading the message here. So if you're watching this, share with some people who need to see this. I was so freaked out when I would see these adults around me, like family members, friends of family, and everybody that's older, and like they would have a basket of pills, and they're like, this one's for high cholesterol, this one's for this one's for that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, are my organs gonna shut down like this? Like, it's just crazy. And then I think that scared me so much that I started taking my health into my own hands by like working out a lot, drinking a ton of water, making my own food, and like simplifying the ingredients and not buying stuff that's packaged as much.
Right.
And, like reducing that processed food as much as possible.
Definitely. And especially because when you go to eat out, even at places that claim to be healthy, I've seen firsthand that they load their food with butter and sugar and stuff like that. So just because it's, you know, a salad doesn't mean it's healthy. That salad could be well over 1,200 calories because it's filled with nuts and cheese and bacon and egg and all these things that when it adds up at the end of the day, right, yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, you're eating 3,000 calories a day and your daily expenditure is 1,200, you're going to gain weight. And, you know, weight gain in itself causes detrimental health effects. So.
Right, for sure.
So when a patient comes in to see me in the hospital, I go in and I kind of get their background, what's going on with them. I usually read through their hospital record and see any history of what they've been through, what brought them here, so I can better assess, you know, how I can help them. And the first thing I do when they get through the door is give them a diet order. So when they're in my care, unfortunately, they're not cooking for themselves. They have to eat what I give them. So I am able to kind of force them to take, you know, whether that be a reduced sodium diet. We have a cardiac diet, which is like a heart-healthy diet. It's low in fat, low in sodium, low in cholesterol. Or we have like a diabetic diet, which is low in sugar. So anyway, I prescribe them a diet based on their need, and then any supplementation that they might need. People with wounds have high protein needs, or might need like a multivitamin, stuff like that. So I pretty much assess where they are and what their goals are. So I do get like bariatric patients who come in and they really want to lose weight, and I think in the hospital is a great time to start helping them with that goal because I'm there to encourage them, whereas like once they're at home, they're on their own.
Right.
So, you know, we'll figure out their goal because some people, their goal isn't always weight loss, and I can't force them to try to be healthy if that's not what they want. But so I will work with them towards their goal and, you know, cutting calories for weight, and more than anything, implementing a healthier diet and teaching them about diet and nutrition so that, you know, when they leave my care, they can implement that into their daily life, because I know someone's not going to be there for them doing that for them when they get home. And I think that's more so the impact I want to have on a daily basis is, yeah, okay, you're with me in the hospital right now, that's fine. But when you get home, I want to make your life healthier every day.
Continue it.
Right.
And like get them the habit of it.
Right. Because I have people who have, you know, people who are quite well educated say things like, oh, I don't eat a lot of salt, so I'm not going to get diabetes. And I'm like, oh, that doesn't even have anything to do with diabetes. I don't even know where to begin, but I just,
Where did you get this information from?
You know, but that's the thing, like, people just don't know. Like, it seems to me, it seems so simple.
Mm-hmm.
Don't mind me.
Do you want to be in the video? I'm just kidding.
To me, it seems so simple, but to everyone, it's not.
Yeah.
So that's something I have to realize and kind of stay grounded and understand where they're coming from and their education level, because most people don't receive nutrition education.
Could you give us like a success story, like with the people that you've worked with? Like, I don't know how long you work with them, but have you seen somebody have a chronic illness and then like it's getting better as you're working with them? Like, is there one that stands out for you that you could think of?
Yeah, I've had a lot of people come in diabetic that might not have known they were diabetic or might not known how to control it. So I had a guy who had an infection from the diabetes and was facing amputation of his leg.
Yeah, I've heard of that from like even their toenails, they have to be careful.
Right, so diabetics, they get the tiniest little sore on their foot or leg, anything, and because of the high blood sugar, it can evolve into a full amputation. It happens, I've seen it happen in 2 weeks. Yeah.
That's so scary.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the reality of it. So we had someone experiencing this. We were able to get his blood sugar under control. He was increasing his activity. He was eating better. This never happens. Usually they are just like, I'm so like far gone that I don't want to listen to you. But in this case, the guy did everything A, B, C, D that we told him to do. Took his insulin on time. Mm-hmm. A lot of them, that's a problem, not taking their insulin when they're supposed to. Got his blood sugar under control, got him out of there, and he lived a happy, healthy life and didn't have to come back again.
That's awesome.
Because I do get a lot
the
of
goal, right?
Right. I get
a
ton of repeat customers in the hospital. So you think they're great and healthy, and you send them home, and then they're back next week. You know. So
yeah, he was able to get his infections under control.
And he was
blood sugar
open and willing to that because a lot of people aren't.
And everything that you laid out for him, he actually did it.
Yes.
And it was successful.
When that happens, it makes me so happy because it's so rare.
Yeah.
It makes me feel good.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. So you also work for a health coaching company. Like, tell us about that.
Yes. So I work for a company called Ava. They are creating a kind of app systeming that we're not really sure where it's going to go yet. It's a startup, but basically it puts a dietitian at your fingertips. So we have like a module system thing. So basically someone could text a dietitian all day long. So they send in pictures of their food to us and
oh wow.
Yeah, they send in pictures of their food, so we log all their food because a lot of people, the problem is with trying to keep nutrition logs and stuff like that. They're like, oh, I don't want to, it's annoying.
Down.
Right, so it increases compliance with maintaining that log. So they just take a picture, send it to us, we're on our phones all day long.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's great because we know what they're eating. We're also there, so if they're at TGI Fridays for lunch, they can be like, hey, dietitian, what should I eat? And I can kind of glance at the menu and look at what the best option might be, or we'll recommend recipe suggestions, or just give them little tips throughout the day, like, hey, did you drink your water yet? Or, anything, depending on what their goal is, because not everyone's goal is weight loss. Sometimes it's just to increase their fruit and vegetable consumption, or sometimes it's to drink more water, or sometimes it's to work out more. And, I think nutrition is absolutely tied to fitness, right? Because if you're eating like garbage, you're not going to have the energy to get in a great workout.
Right.
So it's really fun working with people like that.
Awesome. Yeah, okay, and then you used to be a wellness consultant. So
yes, I was a wellness consultant for a grocery store here in the Cleveland area. It's called Heinen's. It's like a small.
I love Heinen's.
I love Heinen's too.
That's cool.
Yes, it's a very small family-run company. It's mainly only in Ohio. I think they have a couple stores in Chicago too now.
Mm-hmm.
But so they're very focused on like local, organic, kind of similar to Whole Foods. So what I did there was I was a wellness consultant. So aside from like helping customers with nutritional supplements, because we had a whole wellness section which had nutrition supplements, stuff like apple cider vinegar, aloe vera, the more like herbal, holistic stuff. We would also do grocery store tours, which were my favorite.
And what is that? That's so cool.
Yeah, so we would have people come to us and we'd set up these tours and we'd take them around the grocery store and kind of show them healthy options or things that they should look out for. You know, whether it be someone who's newly gluten-free and doesn't know that there's gluten in soy sauce, little things like that. Or it could just be someone who's starting a new diet and they don't know how to navigate the grocery store. They don't even know how to read a nutrition label.
Right.
So we teach them those things and, you know, maybe like where sugar might be lurking, like the different, like the yogurts. Yogurt's a big one. Like a lot of the
like
yogurts.
fruit on the bottom yogurt.
Right.
So much sugar in it.
A lot of them don't even have fruit in them, which blows my mind. Like you're like, I'm like, guys, look at this. Read these ingredients. It says fruit yogurt. Where's the fruit? Like,
that's crazy.
yeah, and
Yeah,
the
so that's
sugar is a huge thing I look out for in
Sugar
those too.
everywhere.
I mean, at the very least, you could buy plain yogurt and just sweeten it yourself. So put in some stevia, just some. I just like it with fruit, but I mean, whatever.
Real fruit.
Right? Yes.
Actual fruit.
Yeah, or if you really needed more sweetness, you could do honey, but at least that's natural. You're adding it yourself. You know where it comes from.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
when you're not making it yourself, you don't really know what's going in there.
True.
So.
Cool.
So yeah, so we would take them around the store and find them fun, healthy options in all the different sections, and you know, making sure to give them those little tips like, you know, try to avoid the middle of the grocery store because that's where a lot of the processed food is. And I think it's really cool that a grocery store chain would do this for their customers because we're kind of telling them to avoid some of their groceries, which might not be the most beneficial thing for them, but you know, I guess they just cared about their customers in that way.
Yeah, that's
So,
awesome.
Yeah.
Shout out to Heinen's. So I want to talk about supplements and what supplements are actually beneficial to take, which ones are a waste of money. Like, do you have any, like, a couple go-tos?
So the one thing I always recommend everyone take is a probiotic. So a probiotic basically puts good, healthy bacteria into your gut, which the normal person should have pretty healthy bacteria in their gut, but because the average American's diet is so processed, it kind of cleans all that good stuff out, and so your digestion isn't able to function normally. So, and a lot of people call the gut the second brain. So what that means is that what you're eating and what you're digesting, how you're digesting, how efficient that process is, affects your entire body. You know, poor digestion has been linked to poor mental health.
I believe that.
Yes.
I totally
Which is
believe
crazy. So definitely recommend the probiotics to everyone. I use Garden of Life brand. That's my favorite brand for all supplements. They're very like natural. They're great. Some people think probiotics are a little like hoo-ha, whatever. They don't think they work. I'm telling you they work. You'll know the difference.
Yeah.
Okay.
I tried one called, I think it's Biome, Biohm.
Okay.
I was at the Arnold Classic last year in Columbus, and I stopped by this stand that had like free samples or whatever it was, or like a discount. And the guy who started it is from Case Western in Cleveland.
Oh, I would bet
So
they're
it's
good
local.
then.
And I liked it.
Okay, cool. So the other thing I do is a multivitamin with iron. I also use the Garden of Life brand for that. You know, technically, everyone doesn't need to take a multivitamin every day. If you're eating a pretty nourishing diet, you probably don't, but I just like to take it just in case. And I do like the iron as a female. We tend to be iron deficient, so I definitely take the iron. And then since it's winter in Cleveland, I have to take vitamin D3.
Because there's no sun.
Yes, because there's no sun, and vitamin D comes from some weird foods that mainly I don't eat, like liver and stuff. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
yeah, so definitely recommend those 3 supplements.
Those are your like 3 go-to.
Yes.
Did I do a 3? I thought I did a 4. Top 3 go-to.
Yeah, I don't take like any protein powders, but I do, if you're someone who's working out and trying to maintain those fitness gains, if you ever go and sit down and track your macros, even just for a week, and see how much you're eating, you're probably not getting anywhere near enough protein. So I'm definitely not opposed to the protein powder if you're someone who's trying to up your protein intake.
Nice. Okay, that's good too. And then which supplements are a waste of money that you like? I mean, when you go online these days, there's like 1,000 bajillion supplements everywhere, and I can see how people are confused. Like I've even gotten confused before. Like, what do you need versus what's wasting your money? So let's talk about the wasting your money supplements.
Garcinia Cambodia.
I've never heard of that.
You ever heard of that one? That's the one that's in all
Maybe I've
those
heard
weight
of
loss
Cambodia.
supplements.
Oh, like a diet pill or like a
A diet
shakes
pill
or whatever. Okay.
Do not take a diet pill. If it worked, everyone would be taking it. It doesn't work. Don't waste your money.
Yeah, and like, why would you want to take that every day for your whole life?
Exactly,
Even if
yeah.
it's
I mean, and I have some concern. I don't know what's in those, but I definitely would have some concern for what kind of weird herbal. So supplements technically are like regulated.
Okay.
So there's certain supplement brands that have a certification on them from whichever company that verifies their formulary. Still, that's kind of unreliable. I think there was like a huge scandal a couple years with, I can't remember what company it was, that they found that all their supplements were like sugar pills.
Are you serious?
So
There's
you-
basically like nothing in it.
So people are paying all this money for these supplements and they're sugar pills. So
Oh my God.
there's, I can't remember the website. I'll have to tell you,
Yeah.
link it.
Link it down below.
Yeah. But there's like a website where you can look them up and see their,
What's actually in
yeah,
them.
they give them like a grade and based
Oh,
on
that's
their
good to know.
formularies.
Good
But
to know.
yes. But the other thing I was gonna say was B12.
B12 is waste of
Money. So when I was working in like the wellness arena, a lot of people seem to think that they could just take a B12 shot, like a spray. They have this like spray that they would drink and just take it 20 times a day, and that was going to give them energy and blah, blah, blah. First off, most people, unless you're elderly, you're not deficient, most likely not deficient in B12. B12 is in any animal product, so vegans, okay, maybe vegans, but it's in any animal product. People our age probably don't need to supplement B12,
Okay.
so they're just wasting their money on these B12 sprays,
Okay.
in my opinion.
Got it.
Because unless you're vegan, you're probably getting more than adequate B12. It's in eggs. I eat eggs every day.
Me too.
I'm not a big, like, a huge meat eater, but I eat eggs every day, so I'm sure my B12 is on point.
I
So.
had eggs like 2 hours ago.
Yeah, me too.
So good. To wrap it up, I want to lastly talk about your message to people our age, especially like people of all ages, but especially our age. How will making healthy lifestyle choices now impact their life to increase their quality of life?
Yeah, so I think the hardest thing is that when you're young, you're healthy, you feel great, you don't really think about the decisions you're making and what you're putting into your body because you don't really have to right now. But the problem is that impacts you over your lifetime. And working in the hospital setting, I've seen these people come in, you know, falling apart. And they
Decades
say,
down the line,
right,
within decades.
right, and they say, I wish I would have known sooner how to better take care of myself so that I want to be here right now. You know, only 40, 50 years old, they have families they need to take care of,
Mhm.
and their bodies are failing on them. So I think my main thing I want to get at is that, you know, just because you're young doesn't mean that you're immune to these things, and you need to really start thinking about your nutrition, your health, exercise, how you're taking care of yourself as a whole. That just because you're young doesn't mean you don't need to focus on your health. You should be thinking about what you're putting into your body on a daily basis and how that's going to affect you over the long term.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Okay, well, thank you. It was an awesome interview. Make sure you follow Kaitlyn on Instagram. I'm gonna link. Do you want to link your personal and your health one?
Yes.
Okay, so those will be linked in the description box. And make sure to make healthy choices to live your best life. Oh my God, healthy snacks! Look at this vending machine. Kaitlyn, did you put this in here?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.